What's up, everybody, and welcome to another Shred Academy's Skills Breakdown. Today, we're here at a mountain bike jump, and we're going to be talking how to actually preload your bike through the face of the jump. Now, this is actually going to teach you how to jump your mountain bike, but if you haven't watched my how to bunny hop or jhop video, stop here, go down in the description. There's a link to those 3 videos. I broke it down into 3 easy steps. Now, why are we talking about the bunny hop to go off of a jump? Well, let's talk about that for a second. Learning the steps of the jhop is super important because they translate directly into going off of the lip. I mean, the jhop consists of 3 steps: the initial wheel lift, the explosion continued with arm roll. Okay, so we can apply those directly to the lip. Now, what the lip of a jump does, it takes the hardest part of the jhop out of the jhop, and that's actually getting the front tire off the ground. What we have to do is make sure that we're putting our body in those advantageous positions so that once we reach the edge of the lip, we can execute the explosion and the explosion continued with arm roll to actually execute the jump and make a really nice arc. So how do those 3 steps equate to going off the lip? Well, let's talk about it. So at the bottom of the lip, you already know from our preload and 2 types of preload that we're gonna execute our body preload at the bottom of the lip. Now, as we start going up the lip, we're gonna switch ourselves into that initial wheel lift position. And that's literally just gonna be scooting our hips slightly over that rear wheel, letting our chest open up to going up in the air. If I keep my chest down, I'm not gonna be able to create the counterbalance that I need to, and all the weight that I've got in this trunk of myself is falling over my front wheel. Let's take a look at what happens when we do keep our body hunched over when we go up the lip.
As we come into the lip here, notice where my upper body stays. It stays very bent over here, right? Facing energy down here. Notice how my arms can't really straighten either. Let's see how it looks going through. Now, I just tried to explode there, and now I'm trying to kind of help pick the front of the bike up and roll it forward. But notice how my body is being pulled forward instead of the handlebars kind of being tensioned back. And that's all because of my upper body not being here and my arms being straight. And that would provide this really, really good wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And you'd have some really good tension on that sucker. And then you'd throw your hips back forward. But let's see what happens here. Yep. Boom. We'll bring it back just so you can see that a little bit in slow-mo. Pulling myself to that, right? You can't create any counterweighting with your body weight there. With your upper body, this whole trunk of you being over this, there's no way. And that's why we end up looking like that and not clearing it.
As you're moving forward through this transition, you're gonna feel some G-forces, right? Because you're changing direction from straight down the trail to going off. So this transition creates actual preload as we go in to the lip of the jump. Now, if we're not accepting that angle change, right, you're gonna feel like you're diving into the lip, right? And as you kind of do it correctly and start to accept the angle of the jump, make sure that your chest is kind of pointing up to it, right? Right? And my arms are gonna be straight. You're gonna feel like you can push back from that force that's kind of driving you in. Now, if you're staying hunched into it and your arms are here, you're gonna feel like you're getting pushed into the lip and you're actually trying to push yourself away from it rather than pushing into the transition. We wanna be pushing into the transition, and we're only able to do that If our upper body kind of sits back like this, so we have a kind of straight line down, and we can push in with our feet onto our pedals and pull back, creating that tension and adding to the suspension preload that's already given to us, as I would assume it's called inertia, takes us through the lip of the jump. I hope that makes sense to everybody. So you're gonna feel the force as you go into it, and if you're not positioned properly, you're gonna feel like you're getting pushed into the lip. So make sure you're getting those hips back, getting that upper body out of the way of all this so you can have your arms straight and kind of start to use your body as a counterweight. Use your body as a counterweight. Now that our chest is up, as we continue up the lip, we're keeping that weight in the rear of the bike. And now as our front tire reaches the edge of that lip, we're gonna start the explosion. Now, what's the explosion? Let's take a quick gander at that.
The explosion. So as I go towards the lip, you'll notice my body position change to accept the angle of the lip. Now as I go up the lip, I'm really not standing up on my bike at all. This would be standing straight up on your bike. I'm back here, right? Creating a counterweight for this front wheel. Now, if I were to stand up to the lip, I'd be jumping up the lip. Standing up to the lip is awful, except as if you take it in this retrospect here. So as I come up the lip, right here is my explosion. Now what I'm doing is I'm pulling myself back to center on the bike, but I'm really trying to get my hips to go up and over the top tube, right? And I'm doing that by pulling myself back forward again with the handlebars. I'm also helping myself go up and forward by jumping with my legs. You'll notice that right now, my heels are dropped, but as I leave the lip, I will then switch to be pointing my toes down and scooping that pedal up. So right here, boom, you can see my hips start to go forward, okay? And now you'll see these toes start to cringe around this pedal here. Right there, you can see they're cringing around there. Now watch my arms roll this bike forward here, boom, and that levels the bike out, and now I can angle the nose down towards the landing. So, yes, we are standing up to the lip, but we're more or less exploding off the top of it. And that exploding is pulling myself up and forward and jumping up and forward with my legs and then not leaving the bike behind. Gotta bring the bike up with you and roll it forward, or you're gonna end up being a dead sailor. So as I go through, boom, the explosion, rolling it down. We'll see in the next clip.
Hey guys, quick interjection. A lot of times people want to try to jump across the jump, and what that's going to do is automatically put their weight in the front of their bike. Trust the process, right? If I'm taking off of that ramp, I should be my highest in the middle, right? And I've got that whole other second half of the distance of the tabletop to make it to the landing. Rely on your form and add speed as needed. Don't rely on speed to get you across. Form is way more important. It's gonna help you as you go to bigger lips. As our front wheel leaves, we want that front wheel to keep going off the lip at the same angle of the lip. We don't want it to dive forward, because letting the bike dive forward as the wheel goes off the lip is actually packing your suspension in, and is gonna give you this getting bucked feeling. We want that bike, pardon me, 50 pounds is not easy to pick up. We need that bike to be going off at this angle. And then it's gonna go halfway through, right? By the time we're halfway across, we should be at our highest. And then we roll the bike down for the landing. Now, man, e-bikes are fun, but really heavy to be lifting to teach with. Hold on. Now, for a second, let's talk about what happens if you don't pull yourself back to center, which is actually really creating that extra preload. You're definitely gonna feel like you're gonna loop out. So pulling yourself back to center, basically after your front wheel is left, is all part of the game. One last thing before we move on to rolling the bike forward and spotting that landing. Let's hook you a little more and talk about why the jhop is so much better than the other style of bunny hop, which I think some people call it the bucking bronco. I've called it the European bunny hop before and gotten wow. So Europe, please don't blow me up, the bucking bronco. And that's where you've preloaded your body into the lip and then you explode all at once and try to pick the whole bike up at one time. I'm gonna try to show a video here. It may not be very good because I'm scared to try. Now, what happens when we lift the whole bike up at once? Now, if I lift the bike up here, right, and I pick my bike up, well, all this distance that my bike hasn't traveled, like to go up the ramp, I'm already taking it off the ramp, which means that gravity, which eventually pulls us back down anyway, is gonna pull me down sooner than I may need or want to, right? And that's also, again, when you see people jumping up the ramp, not off the ramp. There was a YouTube video years ago that said, stand up to the lip. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's some truth to that, and the standing up only comes after the getting back here. If you never get back here, I mean, standing up is just literally jumping up the ramp. And we want to be jumping off the ramp into outer space. We all love to fly. It makes me feel like I'm 12, and I'm turning 40 this year. Holy crap. Still sending it though. All right, so let's move on.
Now that you're airborne, you know, you've got to right the bike and start to point it down towards the landing. So as you can see me come in, okay, right here, you can see me start to, 1, spot my landing. 2, I'm gonna be rolling the handlebars forward so that the nose or the front wheel impacts first, and then my weight is transferred directly down into my bottom bracket. I don't wanna be landing with a whole bunch of weight on my front tire. That's never good. Yeah, it's never good. So as we come through, you can see me roll through, right? Now I've extended myself. I'm getting ready to absorb whatever impact I have with the front tire with my arms. My arms are, again, more shocks. So as I land, boom. Notice that my arms are absorbing some of this blow here, and my weight is going straight down into this bottom bracket. All my weight is not going forward into the fork here. We want to make sure that we are keeping our weight landing in this bottom bracket here. And as I roll forward, boom, and we roll away and get ready for the next jump.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming along and learning how to jump your mountain bike better. I hope this video helped you. A few key points to take away. Make sure that you're working on your jhop. It's really gonna help you with transitioning it over to feeling comfortable going up a lip and getting yourself in that rear seat. Remember, your front tire has to keep going up at the same angle or greater than the lip until your rear wheel leaves the lip. You don't want that front tire diving before your front tire actually leaves the lip. Now lastly, speed. If you're not clearing the jump, don't just add more speed. Make sure you're working on your form. We only want to add speed when we're comfortable with our form. If you're having trouble with your form, please send me the videos. We have an online coaching review program that's like none other, and it's awesome. The video turnaround time is about 24 hours, and it's one-on-one coaching. I'm talking directly to you. Lastly, go check out some merch. I've got some great new shirts and new hats. As always, I'm in it for the smiles, not miles. I love to ride a bike. It puts a smile on my face, helps me with my mental health for sure. I'm sure it does with you. Any questions, please leave them in the comments. We'll try to get to them. And yeah, thanks for coming along. We're trying to make these videos better. The more engagement we get with you guys, we can possibly start making some money off these, and we can get some better equipment because we love doing this for you. We'll see you in the next one. Shred hard, shred safe, everybody. Yeah.